Hi, this is Nianta Spellman with Rainforest Partnership, bringing to you Our Planet, Our Future, a video podcast presented by Rainforest Partnership. Find us at www.rainforestpartnership.org and on social media. Join us as we bring interesting and compelling guests to talk about the environment, climate change, and rainforests.
Good morning. I'm Beth Kaplan, Chief Strategy Officer for Rainforest Partnership, and welcome to the latest edition of Rainforest Partnership's video podcast. My guest today is a very special partner of Rainforest Partnership. Rafa, would you please introduce yourself? The way he says it is music, and I want you all to hear it from him.
Well, hello. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I'm Rafa Calil. I'm from Brazil, a Brazilian director. I've been working with documentaries for the last 12 years, and we're in a partnership with our film, Forest People. It's a film about Chico Mendes' legacy. Chico was the most important Brazilian environmentalist, and he was murdered in 1988. So this year is the 30th anniversary of his murder. And Rainforest Partnership is helping us to promote the film and to make it go as far as possible, which is our goal,
Absolutely. We met last year at South by Southwest, and in fact through South by Southwest. So thank you to our partner because you made this connection happen. And I remember when we first met at the Brazilian booth, and you were showing us a 4-minute, I think it was about 4-minute piece, and Nianta has one earpiece in one ear, and I have the other piece in the other ear, and we're watching. And we were just both so captivated that I think at the same moment we looked away from the screen, looked at each other, and smiled, and knew that we thought, this is magic, and we've got to partner with these folks if they will have us. And I'm so glad that we did. It's a great journey so far. You guys were just here. You were here. Well, you're here again as part of this amazing Brazilian presence at South by, but. Also, you participated with us at the community screening of Films for the Forest, and the teaser of the film looks enticing. So tell me, when is it going to be coming out, and when people are going to be around the world are going to be able to connect with it?
Well, we're on editing room now, so I'm pretty excited. It's almost there, but we're planning to have it ready by May, and then we're going to be on theaters in Brazil, and then in Brazil we have another broadcaster, a Brazilian cable TV channel called Global News, and we are also going through festivals and going all over the world around. I don't know, we want to take this film, as I told in the beginning, as far as possible, because I've done a lot of documentaries, but there are some that you really kind of like the story comes to you, I knew Chico Mendes' cousin by accident. I went to Acre, the state that they live, to shoot another thing like about immigration, and on the way back we stopped by some place and this guy was there, and I got to know him, and this was like almost 10 years ago, and then I just, when you get some empathy about that people, and I just kept coming back, and by 2013 I told him that I would love to do a film about it, and she said, about what? Just about this reality, the way you guys live and everything. And he said, oh, okay, if you want, it's okay, And then I start trying to write a treatment or something to get to finance it. And in 2014, I had the inside of the 2018 30th anniversary, and then I got the financing, and the money came in the middle of 2015, and then we started shooting for real. And for me, it's been an amazing experience, because every time I come back there, I understand that this film, this subject, when you go to the forest and all that, it's much bigger than us. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than my company. It's bigger than you, than South by Southwest. And it's just a matter that, for some reason, this story came to me, and I'm just like the tool to make it translated to a film and to make people watch it and understand that it's bigger than all of us, and we should take care of our surrounding, because it's all connected. And if we don't take care of this, and we don't take care of the forest, things are going to be gone, and actually it's not going to be gone. It's going to be gone for us. We're destroying the world that is favorable for us, for our species, because the planet will go on. So it's a matter of taking care of all of us,
Right. Well, I think what's amazing is that you met Chico's cousin, and you saw a story. and he didn't. He was so into the day-to-day of his life that he didn't understand what you could see as a director and a storyteller. So I guess I want to know, because just seeing some of what you've done and spending time with you and hearing your stories, and for anybody who wants to hear some incredible stories, find the video of our session at South by Southwest. Rafa tells some amazing stories, and we'll have a link to that on our website and near this podcast. So we want to connect you with it. But when did you first have a sense that you wanted to tell a story, or whether it was through film or just talking to people or through some other medium? What was your journey?
Yeah, it's weird how I got to documentaries, but nowadays I think that it makes complete sense, you know. But when I was a teenager, I had a band, and we used to play in rock indie shows around Brazil. Like I managed to go to other states and play, and I loved this traveling routine and this way of living, not attached to a fixed place, like ever go to the same place and all that. And I decided, man, I need to do this for my life, you know. I don't want to be in an office. I had this decision at first, back then, like a lot of time ago. And then, but the band, as I got around my 19s, 20s, I saw that the band were not gonna bring me money, you know. It was the opposite way, you know. Usually we're putting money in, you know. I was like, okay, so maybe this cannot be a job, you know. But maybe it's just something that I like to do, but it cannot be something as a job. And then I said, okay, I need to go to college. So I didn't want to be like a musician in an orchestra or anything. I was just like this little punk, you know. I wanted to create things and in my way and all that stuff. And said, maybe I should go to film school, you know. Film is like it has to do with creativity. It's like it has this crew spirit of working together, that you do have it in a band also. And then I said, well, I'll take it a try. And then I started doing that. And at film school, I wanted to be a director of photography, actually, a cinematographer. I didn't want to be a director. But then, as college went by, I kind of understood that storytelling kind of teases me up, and I managed to get a job on MTV Brazil at the time. And after 3 months, they offered me to be part of the crew of MTV Sports, action sports TV show that started to travel. And then I was a second camera unity, and then I just loved the effect of, well, I'm traveling, shooting real life. It was the athletes and all that, and I managed to do the no routine way of life. And then I came back, I was like, this is what I want to do, I think, you know. And then I started digging opportunities for that. And on MTV, they offered me the opportunity to direct a travel show. And then I said yes, of course. And then I became a director for real. And since then I just it seems that as much as I do a lot of travel travel projects comes to me, you know, like. And then people kept calling me for projects like that has to do traveling, and then I said I was tired of working alone, so I got with Tito and said, man, let's do a production company between of us. And the beginning would be a pair of directors that would help each other, you know. And then we started as Duo2 is like that. It's like a pair of two. It's playing with that fact. But then the jobs started to get a real good feedback, and we got, so you guys don't do editing too? Yeah, we do. We don't design, you do editing, yeah. And then we start editing, and then we start producing, and then once we start producing, okay, now we have the tools to do our stories, you know, not only the other people's stories. And then I started to dig up the stories, and I think that real life is really rich, you know, as to tell stories, you know. For me, it's hard to think about fiction nowadays, because I said nothing would be richer than some real life stories. It's just a matter of finding them, and it's not hard. And in this case, for some reason, it came to me, and I'm enjoying it, you know.
That's wonderful. And you told me this story, but tell people what the difference is between filming and you're planning a film in the city or at a sporting event, or shooting a film in the rainforest, and what that does to having a schedule.
It's almost surreal, you know. Like I remember at the beginning of the pre-production, because I've been to the Amazon before, and even not just working, just like to know, to stay at Nielsen, for instance, the character of one of the characters of the film, and I was like, I knew that it's a different way of time. Like time runs differently over there. It's completely peculiar in that way. And when we started in pre-production, I said, I said to the producers, I want time there. I don't want like a huge crew. I want a really small crew, but I want to spend as much time as possible. You know, like I'm not talking about. We're going to spend the same money, but in a different way. I want to spend time. I said, why that, man? Because a lot of things are going to go wrong. We need time there to things to arise in front of the camera. I don't want to have like a 10-day shooting with like 15 people. I want like a 4-month shooting with 2-3 people, you know. And then we designed a production like that, and they said, oh, I think you're exaggerating, you know. I said, no, I'm not, man. And then I shared contacts with them to talk with one of the characters. And when they call him, the assistant director was like, oh, I'm calling you because we need to plan our shootings, we're going there, and we want to organize our schedule and all that. And the guy said, no, when are you coming? Oh, we're coming from that day to that date. Okay, just come here and we work that out, you know. There's no such thing of planning, because you need to come here, we'll solve it out. And then I was like, no, but I need to understand. No, don't worry. If you plan, you won't do the planning. So there's no way of, there's no chance of planning. Don't worry about it. Just come here and we'll make it out. And he was like, he hung up the phone and was like, oh, man, we cannot plan, you know. And he is the planner, you know. So he was like getting crazy about it. But once we got there, it's just like that, you know. Oh, so you want to do this? Oh, you can go to that place and talk to him, and maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow he'll do it. And a lot of times, like we were shooting part of it on the rainy season, because we wanted to get their lives in actually their lives are really connected to the cycles of nature. Mm-hmm. So, and you have a really different forest in the rain season and in the dry season. So the products are different, the way that they deal with the forest is different, the hunting is different, mm-hmm. because everything is different. So we wanted to shoot on those different seasons, and we were in the rainy season, and it was a shooting flight of 33 days. In these 33 days, we were there for like the four days, and in the 5th day it starts raining, and it rained for 11 days in a row, and really pouring rain, you know, not just, it wouldn't stop, you know. And on the 2nd day, electricity went away, so we stayed 9 days without electricity.
Oh, wow.
And then we're just sitting. We woke up, sit in a chair. You know, waited, and the rain didn't stop, and then we went to bed, and then we wake up, and you're just sitting and waiting and eating and sleeping and sitting and waiting. It was crazy, you know, but then once we got there, when the rain stopped, and we managed to do everything we wanted. But it's like that. You need to give time, because nature rules times there. You know, we don't control it, and with that, we had to deal with that. You know.
I think that must have helped also deepen your bond and your relationship with the rainforest community. People who understood that the flow and the rhythm of their lives, that you were willing to adapt to that so that you could tell their story, rather than imposing the way you would normally do things to make a schedule.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I remember one of the shooting flights, we were there for like 52 days, and on the 48th day, I was like, man, we're 4 days to go away. And one of the guys from the community was like, you're already going away? I was like, man, I'm not here for almost 2 months, you know. What do you mean already, you know? And my family, my wife and my kids, I have 2 girls and my wife, and I took them already to get to know people there. I mean, and every time I go there, she said, oh, so you're visiting your Acres family, you know, it's kind of like I have a second family over there for real, you know. I really created a strong bond with them that I think will last for the rest of my life, you know, much longer than film will end the production process, you know. So
you went to make a film, and you came back with so much more.
Yeah, well, for sure. And I'll try to put that on screen somehow, you know. Hopefully I will reach that goal. You know?
I'm pretty sure you'll do that. But I think I have one more question just about the film. So when you had the idea to do this movie, and now you spend time there, you get to know the community, the rhythm of the rainforest much more deeply. Did something change in the story you decided to tell or that you're ultimately telling?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, actually, I knew a bit of the reality by then, and I had a treatment. But every time I went there, it's like a new layer opens, and especially on the conflict side of it, because it was something that I knew it existed, but I didn't know how to reach it. So every time I went back, I was trying to dig that access, because I was really worried about one thing is, when you go to Chico Mendes' family and in their community, they live like in a really beautiful way. It's really beautiful, and it's like a fairy tale, like somehow you can get really excited about it and all that, but that's not the whole reality, and I wanted people to understand that they live in a really beautiful way, but we need to take care of it. It's not all right, If I haven't the other side of it, it will be like, oh, there's no problem there. They're living like in a really, and it's not like that, We need to take care of it. So we have a lot of the shootings that focus on this beautiful way of living, at least in my opinion. And then I wanted to get the dark side of it, and I started trying to access it. And we've been there since production started for 7 times. And on the last 2 times, we managed to get to the sensitive points of it, the sensitive issues. So, and it was enough for the film, then we can balance that on narrative and create a more broad perspective, just not only looking for the good things, but looking for the things that are threats for these good things that have been achieved in the next 3 decades, So. Did I answer that?
You absolutely did. You absolutely did. I think since we're here at South by and we've just had the community screening of the Films for the Forest, where filmmakers around the world are invited to submit films to that tell the story of forests and trees and our relationships with them. What would you say, as someone who's on his own journey as a visual storyteller, to young filmmakers or new filmmakers of all ages who might be thinking, I'd love to do that, but should I? How should I? What would be 1 or 2 good pieces of advice that you might give them?
Well, it's a hard question, but because as I told you, I feel that today makes completely sense where I am, but if I plan it, I couldn't preview the path that I've taken, But what I think that I always tried to be driven by to do things that I'm identified with, to not sell off myself for anything, And I think that made my path peaceful somehow, I think it really helps me get to my goals. I remember in the start of the company, a lot of times there were opportunities of job that appeared to us, and we said, man, but I don't see myself doing that, and we turned out some stuff, even though we needed work to do, but we said, well, if you do this, we will open that door and not this door, and I want to go to this door, and then we started so if you want to do something like with storytelling, it's not easy, it's gonna be a hard path, it's hard, you need just to pursue something and don't give up. I would say that, because if you don't give up, you will start building things, and one thing after another thing, you will get to another thing, that will get to another thing. So once you keep doing it, you get to somewhere, just pursue something that you're in peace with, I think, I don't know.
That sounds very, very much aligned with the story of the man whose story you're telling. That Chico, in a way, found the door that he wanted to go through, and wasn't diverted from that by other things.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and he surely didn't preview the magnitude of his path, because he was a rubber tapper son, and he managed to get that learned how to read with 14 years old, and he managed to get a United Nations prize, and he never got out of Acre before that,
Right.
he was like, this is, if you think about it, it's completely impossible. But this guy lived that, you know, so I don't know. He couldn't preview it either, you know, so.
Well, sometimes we don't know most of us don't know what impacts we have.
Yeah.
You know, we may never know.
Yeah, it's true.
But let's hope that he does, and certainly his family does. And after seeing Forest People, so many people around the world are going to know. So thank you, and I'm so excited for it. I think I've learned so much about you and about the work you're doing, and even knowing everything I know, I'm more excited. So May is coming. We're going to put up links to we're going to put up, I think, the teaser that we showed at the community screening. We're going to connect you to Rafa's company's website. We may throw up a few other things for you to check out. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you so much, Rafa.
Thank you.
It's been a genuine pleasure.
And well, it was a pleasure talking to you guys during these days. You know, we had a great time at South by Southwest. Thanks a lot.
It's been really wonderful. Thank you all for tuning in, and come back and check out the next episode of Rainforest Partnerships video podcast.
You've been listening to Our Planet, Our Future, brought to you by Rainforest Partnership. From Nianta Spellman and the Rainforest Partnership team, thank you for joining us.